You do not need to put 20% down on rental properties. I repeat, you do not have to come out of pocket at all to buy long-term wealth-building rental properties. You can create millions of dollars of actionable equity without using any of your own money, and you can create a passive flow of money coming to you every single month while you build wealth with rentals, and you don't even have to spend a nickel. We're currently on the second of 3 videos on the series of how to invest in real estate without using any of your own money. We talked about fixing and flipping. We're currently talking about rentals. And I got another video coming out focusing on wholesaling. Those are the 3 ways you can make money in real estate without using any of your own money. Stay tuned to the end of this video to hear Maisie's joke of the day and lightning round. When I got started, I thought you had to put 20% down on every single rental you bought. So in my mind, I wanted to grow rentals. So I thought, you're gonna have to buy a property, fix it, flip it, sell it, take that profit and put 20% down on a rental. I thought that you had to buy 2 houses for every 1 rental. During my initial first house rehab that I planned to sell, I discovered the BRRRR Method, the BRRRR strategy, which allows you to do long-term rentals without putting 20% down. I'm gonna go over that here now. The fact that you can create millions of dollars in equity without using any of your own money is so powerful. So how do you do this? How do you buy rentals and how do you add cash producing properties and equity and get wealthy over time without using any of your own money? The main way to do it and the simplest form to do it is the BRRRR method or the BRRRR strategy. Premiering live now is FasterFreedom's version of the BRRRR method. We're gonna call it the BRRRR's method. I'll explain that here in a second. If you want a detailed video what the BRRRR method is, check out this video above. I talk about the BRRRR method. I'm on the whiteboard, Mr. Professor Sam here, and I'm showing you in detail what the method is. I'm just gonna go over it briefly here and explain how you don't have to use any of your own money to get rentals. So the typical BRRRR method stands for buy, rehab, rent, refinance, repeat. So that is the typical BRRRR method that's been around a long time. Lots of people know about it. The addition that I'm adding to the FasterFreedom BRRRR method is buy, rehab, rent, refinance, repeat, and scale. We're going to talk about that final letter at the end. You utilize other people's money, which is hard money lenders or private money lenders, somebody else's money that's not yours, to buy a property at a discount. That's the buy. So you buy a property with somebody else's money, usually hard money or private money lenders. You haven't used any of your money yet, right? Then you rehab the property and get it, you bought it at a discount, so you rehab it, renovate it to get it up to market value to be able to rent to a good renter. But you utilize the other people's money, the same people you used to purchase the property, use their money to fix it up. Still haven't used any of your own money, so now you have a property that you bought, that you fixed up, either yourself or hiring it out, and you don't have any of your own money in the deal, and it's ready to get rented. The next R is rent. So you get it rented at the market price. Then you take it to the next R, where this is where the magic happens, is the refinance stage. This is where you take your property to a small local bank, they will appraise it. They will send out an appraiser and they will write you a check, cut you a cashier's check for up to 80% of that appraised value. I'm gonna put some numbers on this second to make it make sense. But you take that cashier's check and you pay back your initial lender who lent you the buy and the rehab plus interest. So you paid them back plus interest, they're gone. They're out of the equation, they're happy. Now, the bank that wrote you that check has a mortgage on the property. They didn't just give you money, that'd be really cool, but they give you that check, but then you have a mortgage for that check amount on the property that you owe every single month until it's paid off, just like an old mortgage on your house. But in the third step, you got it rented, remember, so that renter is bringing in enough rent, if you run your numbers properly, to pay the mortgage and all owning expenses, plus cash flow. You can repeat as many times as you want because your buy, your rehab, your initial lender is happy, they got their money back plus interest, you got a tenant in place, paying all of your owning costs every single month. And the bank is happy because they have a secure loan on an income producing property that pays them every single month. And you repeat it as many times as you want to. The final S, which we're premiering today, is scale. If you want to scale and do this the right way from the front, be efficient, be effective right off the front, scaling takes time and energy and focus and structure and processes and systems, and we get closer and closer and closer. And you can get that by hiring somebody who's done it before, some type of mentor, some type of coach, some type of mastermind. We have a live rental academy that Brian Lucas and myself teach people how we have grown a $25 million rental portfolio without using any of our own money. So if someone takes our course, They learn about all that stuff, and they learn the scale aspect where they can scale quickly and efficiently with the least mistakes as possible. So that's the FasterFreedom BRRRR strategy, and that is a great way to buy rental properties without using any of your own money. Now let's talk numbers. I'll put some numbers to it, and then we're gonna hit the lightning round. We still got Maisie's jokes, so don't go anywhere. So quick example is, and this is simple math, but this is a realistic rental that I had in St. Louis, one of my most recent rentals, and a lot of the country, it works, but you do need to know your numbers, and you know how to get to these numbers. In this video I have right here is a video where I talk about the two formulas you use to buy rental properties, to have equity, and to make sure you cash flow. So check out that video after this. So a quick example is, I bought a rental property for $90,000. I used a private money lender to buy it. We put in $20,000. So I used a total of $110,000 from my private lender, Steve. Steve wrote me a check for $110,000. I got the property, fixed it up, got it rented for $1,500, and then I sent a local bank out. They appraised the property. We're working our way through the BRRRR method, the BRRRR strategy. They appraised the property appraised for $150,000. So they wrote me a cashier's check, my business a cashier's check for 80% of that, which is $120,000. So if you're paying attention at all, and hopefully you were, you know I have $110,000 of Steve's money. He wants that back plus interest. I got a check from the bank for $120,000. So I paid Steve back $115,000. So he made $5,000 in about 80 days. Didn't have to do anything. I actually made $5,000. That's a little talked about part of the BRRRR method, the BRRRR strategy. That's the benefit of hiring somebody who's done it before and learning the best processes. If you do it right, lots of times you're going to be able to make money, and it's a refinance so you don't have to pay taxes on it right away, or at all if you hold it long enough. So for this example, I have a rental property that cash flows a couple $100 a month. I didn't use any of my own money, and I got to bring home $5,000 because I knew my numbers and we bought it properly. So that's kind of how it can work and should work. Let's get into the lightning round right now, and then we're gonna talk about Maisie's joke.
How do you find a good rental property at a discount?
You find a good rental property at a discount by getting to know other investors in your area and getting to know real estate agents and other people that come across houses that need to sell at a discount. You get to know them by telling everybody you know that you want to invest in real estate and joining your, I'm repeating myself, joining your local real estate investing Facebook groups and meetup groups.
Are the contractors you use to fix up a rental different than a contractor you use to fix up a fix and flip?
Great question. No, in general, they're the same contractors. You want to build a good base of contractors that you use. Your finishes may be different in your flips than your rentals, but in general, the contractors you use should be the same.
What kind of terms would you get on the long-term financing going to your local bank?
Most terms you get when your local bank on the refinance stage, you're going to get anywhere from a 20 to a 25-year amortization period, and you're probably going to get, depending on the rate, it's a commercial loan, so it's a little bit higher than your residential loans you see out there. You probably get between 4 and 5% right now. We're in November of 2020. You'll get between 4 and 5%, and usually you'll have some type of adjustable rate mortgage, some ARM that after 3 or 5 years they can adjust the rate. But there is limitations to how much they can adjust it.
How long should the process of buying, fixing, placing a tenant, and refinancing take?
The BRRRR method depends on the level of rehab and your experience, but usually the entire process will take anywhere from 3 months to maybe 8 to 9 months. It really depends on two main factors. One is how quickly you can do the rehab, and two, some local banks will require a seasoning period where you have to have the property rented and owned for a certain amount of period of time before they will refinance. Some don't. So just, you'll get to know your local banks and which do and don't, but it usually anywhere from a 3 to 8 month process. We usually try to do it in 3 months.
How long does it take to actually put a tenant in to stop the bleeding so you start getting some cash flow in?
So one of the great parts about the BRRRR method and the BRRRR strategy doing it this way is you have fixed up rehab properties that are in great condition, usually with new updates, new appliances, new floors, new everything, or at least newer, so you can get a tenant easier. So it usually takes anywhere from 1 to 3 weeks right now in this current market to get a good renter, as long as you're not asking too much for rent.
So how do you find your local banks to refi to?
Yeah, so these aren't your Bank of America's, your Commerce Banks, your big national banks. They do not like this investing space. They do traditional mortgages, and then they have savings and checking accounts and CDs and all that kind of stuff. These are your small local banks. Usually have 5 to 10 branches. The ones we use are called First State Bank of St. Charles. So you can't use them probably because they're local and they only lend local, but banks like that, banks that have branches in the city and out of the city and little more rural banks, their whole purpose is to do loans like this. So they will work with you. You just got to contact enough until you find the right one for you. Maisie's joke of the day. Why don't eggs tell jokes? because they'd crack each other up. Thanks for watching. If you guys appreciate any of this, please make sure you subscribe to our channel. We come out with a bunch of free actionable content every single week, so make sure you subscribe, you hit that notification bell, like our videos. I'd really appreciate it. And if you want to know more about how to build a rental portfolio using other people's money, check out this video up here. Lucas and I talk for about an hour and 15 minutes sitting right over there in that corner about how to build a rental portfolio using other people's money, how to buy your very first property. That video is focused on. See you on the next one.